Hello friends! So today I'm doing something a little bit different for me. I've never done this before on my channel, but today I wanted to do a book to movie comparison. The book to movie comparison that's happening today is for Howl's Moving Castle. The book is by Diana Wynne Jones. The movie is made by Studio Ghibli and directed by Hayao Miyazaki. Oh, I forget how to say his name, but by Miyazaki. And so let's start with the book. We'll kind of do a download here. I will get into some spoilery things, so I will let you know when that happens. And then we'll jump ahead and talk about the movie. Again, when I hit spoiler land, I will let you guys know. Overall, the book I gave like a 3.5 to a 3.75 stars. And the movie is a 5-star movie for me. I've talked about the movie before on my channel. And I heard there was a book, and so I wanted to pick it up and I wanted to read it. So the book, Howl's Moving Castle, is about Sophie. And Sophie kind of learning her place in life is the easiest way to kind of describe this. Sophie is the oldest of 3 girls. Both of her parents have passed away. The stepmother, kind of helped divvy out things for each of the girls. One sister went to go apprentice with a witch. Another went to go apprentice with somebody in a pastry shop. And Sophie, the oldest, is left to inherit the hat shop of her family. In doing so, she crosses paths with Howl, who is a wizard in this world. And when she crosses paths with Howl, things start to change for her. And what happens to Sophie is a curse is put upon her by the Witch of the Wastes. And Sophie, who is, a young woman, is now made to be this 80, 90-year-old woman. She's aged very much. She's very wrinkled. And it's about how she comes across Howl's path again, and about how Howl doesn't only help her, but she helps Howl. So it's a really interesting journey. The book is... In the book, I feel like the characters aren't fleshed out enough. Granted, this is probably somewhere between middle grade and young adult in the writing. So the characters come across very shallow, except for Calcifer, who is a fire demon. Calcifer is great. He's written very well, very charismatically in this book, and he kind of saves the day when it comes to the writing of this book. The book isn't bad, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it's a 3.5 to 3.75 star for me. And I enjoyed the read, but that's also because I'd had exposure to the film first. I'm going to get into specifics on the differences. If you have not read the book or haven't seen the movie and don't want to be spoiled at all, just know that it's a magical journey and you'll want to pick it up. Either the book or the movie, both are fantastic. So I'm going to let you sign off here, and then those who have seen it, at least seen the movie, I'm going to talk about some differences between the two, and I will see you guys here in a minute. The entrance of Spoilerland, Spoilerland, Spoilerland. All right. First thing, Sophie has multiple sisters. And that was a huge thing. And then the love interest angle is completely different. Howl is chasing one sister. Michael is chasing another. They're both pretending to be each other. It's interesting. All of that got really hard to follow because they would say my Letty or my Letty. And it just got super ultra confusing for me once the sisters had switched places and both of them were in love with each other. Also, the Witch of the Wastes is the villain in this story. And that was completely different. And Howl has this family in Wales, and he goes and visits them, and it felt kind of disjointed in a way. My struggle with the story is that it didn't flow. The book needed to have a few more details. It needed to flow a little better. And I know that they kind of wanted to keep you guessing because Sophie was figuring it out, but we needed a little bit more when Sophie was getting glimpses. A little bit more each time would have been very helpful. How they came to the ending in this book was nice. I mean, it's wrapped up pretty tidy. I don't know how tidier you can make that ending. It was interesting for me because in comparison to the movie is this whimsical, heroic journey. And the book is so shallow in comparison to what the movie is. I think Miyazaki was able to take the bones of this story and expand upon it in a way that I personally feel improves the story. That doesn't discredit this. For me, the book and the movie are very, very different. The castle isn't as imaginative in this as it is in the Miyazaki film, but that's Ghibli. Ghibli loves to play in whimsy and all of those kind of things. In the film, this is the castle. It's, got a mouth and it's moving and working parts and it has feet. Where in the book, it's more like a traditional castle that just moves and floats around. This one, it has, kind of walking legs, but not really. I mean, this one has feet and a face and all these extra parts, and it's just so whimsical and so beautiful. Sophie is just, in the book, she's very resigned to her life, working in the hat shop and things like that. Where in the movie, it's about self-confidence, and Sophie just doesn't feel beautiful. And so when she crosses paths with Howl for the first time, that was my biggest beef between the two. So when Howl and Sophie cross paths, Howl comes across so entirely shallow in the book. It drove me crazy. But in the movie, Howl comes along, he rescues Sophie. They go on this little magical walk. I mean, that happens in the book, but just in a completely different spot. And so they go on this magical walk. He takes her to safety. He says, "That's my girl," and he hops down. Because in the movie, Howl knows who Sophie is supposed to be for him all along. In the movie, Howl is much more heroic. He's flying out. He's protecting people from this war. He knows the war is pointless and stupid, and he's trying to save everybody. Where in the book, there's not even a war going on. It's, the brother's missing, and the king wants to send Howl just to find his brother. And the magical instructor is nice and kind, rather than kind of in the villain role. The Witch of the Wastes is completely the villain in the book, where in the movie, she's selfish and wants what she wants, and doesn't want anybody to touch Howl because she loves Howl. But it's one of those things where you learn why. You learn why the Witch of the Waste is the way she is. And she has her true nature revealed by the other sorceress, and Sophie grows a backbone, and she's wonderful, and learns that she's beautiful, and becomes the woman that she is, and she goes to protect Howl, where I didn't get as much of that from the book, and I needed that. When it comes down to it, for me personally, I enjoy the film more than the book. The film makes more sense, it flows better. Calcifer is very enjoyable once again. My only beef with the film in comparison to the book is that Michael is very young in the film. Michael's more like somewhere between 7 and 10 in age, where in the book, it feels like he should be in an apprenticeship. He's 15, he's going out there, and he's learning. And that feels like a more appropriate time for the way the book is set, rather than so young like it is in the film. And I think a lot of that is Miyazaki wanted, in the end, for it to look like this complete film. And I do love, in the film, at the end, how Sophie gets a glimpse of how Howl and Calcifer came to be. And she's like, "I understand. I know what I need to do now. Come find me." So you learn that Sophie's the one who told Howl to come find her. And it's so beautiful. And Sophie comes to Howl when he's all but lost to his darkness and his magic. And she says, "I'm sorry, am I too late?" and gives him a kiss. And says, "Take me to Howl, or take me to Calcifer. I know what I need to do." And she saves them, and it's magical, and it's lovely, and full of so much whimsy. And I just love it so much. The first time I saw this movie was about 2 years ago, and I gush about it still to this day. If you have never seen a Miyazaki film, I highly, highly, highly recommend Howl's Moving Castle as one of your first. It is one of my all-time favorites. It might be my all-time favorite. There are several that I really love and really enjoy, but I do think Howl just takes the cake for me. It's the first Ghibli film I really saw was The Secret of Arrietty, which again is lovely, But Howl's Moving Castle is the one that made me fall in love with Studio Ghibli and want to watch more and want to explore that world even more. And I really just enjoyed the journey that was the movie. The book is good. Don't get me wrong. I love books. This is one of the few cases for me where the book is better than the movie. And I'm kind of tempted to take some of the other Miyazaki stories that are books and read those and see how I feel about them, because I don't know. Miyazaki is a brilliant director where he can take the bones of the story, as I've said with this one, and improve upon it and make it better. And I really feel like he did that with this one. He simplified things. She only had one sister. You never see the dad. The dad's already gone. Sophie only works in the hat shop. There's no flower shop. And everything's condensed in a wonderful and beautiful way where you get to the heart of the story. Howl teaches Sophie that she's beautiful. Sophie teaches Howl that he can be human and have a heart. It's so beautiful. Oh, I could gush all day. So in this particular instance, the movie wins for me, and I hope that that is a good look into Howl's Moving Castle, the book and the movie, so that you can, form your own opinion from there. If you have seen both, let me know what you prefer down below. Again, if you've read the book but not seen the movie, I highly recommend the movie, or vice versa. The book is a fun read, and I was able to kind of revisit some of those characters, and I liked some of the changes that were made. So, Turnip Head is Turnip Head. I couldn't get that visual image that Ghibli put in my head of Turnip Head when I was reading. That's just exactly how I saw it. So if you have your own idea of what Turnip Head should look like and then you watch the movie and it's different, please tell me, because I couldn't get that other image out of my mind. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Have an awesome weekend. I'm hoping to get another video up soon, and I'll talk to you Monday if I don't see you before then. Bye!